Okay, let's talk about that feeling. We've all been there, right? You're talking to someone, maybe it's a date, a job interview, or just someone you really want to connect with, and boom, your mind just goes completely blank.
Total freeze.
Yeah, and the silence starts getting like loud. You feel that awful knot in your stomach, scrambling for anything to say.
And you start thinking, what's wrong with me? Am I boring? Why can't I think of anything? It's this really frustrating, sometimes even anxiety-inducing place to be. You feel lost for words.
Exactly, lost for words. And some people think, oh, I'm just awkward, or I wasn't born good at talking.
Right. They internalize it as a personality flaw, but honestly, that's just not the case. It's rarely about some innate talent or lack thereof. It's really about, well, understanding a few key things and learning some skills.
Skills you can learn, not just something you have and don't have.
Absolutely. It's a combination of shifting your mindset and then applying some practical techniques, things anyone can develop.
Okay, so the goal of this discussion then, the promise really, is about how to never run out of things to say again. To move from that feeling of panic and self-doubt to feeling genuinely confident. Like, you could just flow in any conversation.
And that flow, that confidence, it's not just about small talk. It's about connection. When you can connect authentically, it changes everything. It elevates your energy.
Which is huge for manifestation, right? Attracting better interactions, better opportunities.
Precisely. It's about alignment. How you show up in conversation, the energy you exchange, it directly influences what you draw into your life. Fear and judgment attract more of that. Curiosity and genuine connection, that's magnetic. It attracts positive experiences, success, relationships, you name it.
Okay, so how do we actually get there? Where do we start?
The absolute foundation is mindset. You have to start there. And one of the biggest blocks is that intense self-judgment we put on ourselves. We feel like we're constantly under a microscope.
Yeah, like everyone's noticing every little stumble.
They really aren't, though. There's this thing called the spotlight effect. Psychologists have studied it. We massively overestimate how much other people are paying attention to us, especially our flaws or mistakes.
Is that like the embarrassing t-shirt study?
Exactly. The Barry Manilow shirt study. Students thought maybe 50% of people noticed their, let's say, questionable t-shirt. The reality, less than 25%, maybe even closer to 20%.
Wow. So that awkward pause, or the word you couldn't find 5 minutes ago.
Chances are the other person has already forgotten it. They're probably thinking about their own stuff, what they want to say next or what's for dinner. Understanding that, really internalizing it, is incredibly freeing. It takes the pressure off.
Okay, so less self-judgment. That's huge. What's the next mindset piece? Because even if I'm not judging myself, my mind still goes blank sometimes.
Right. And that usually comes down to the filtering problem. This is probably the #1 reason people feel like they have nothing to say.
Filtering? What do you mean?
It's not that your mind is actually empty. It's that you have a thought, maybe a fleeting observation, a question, a related idea. But before it even gets close to your lips, your internal critic jumps in.
Ah, the inner critic.
Yeah, and it says, nope, that's dumb, that's irrelevant, they don't care, that's not interesting enough. You shoot down every single potential contribution before it has a chance.
So it feels like your mind is blank, but it's actually just overfiltered.
Exactly. So the solution isn't necessarily to think faster or have more brilliant thoughts. For most people struggling with this, the key is to practice filtering less.
Filter less. That feels risky.
I know it sounds counterintuitive. Obviously, you need basic social awareness. You don't blur out things that are truly offensive or wildly off topic. But most of the thoughts we filter, they're fine. Maybe a little tangential, maybe not profound, but they're often the little bridges that keep a conversation moving. Saying something, even if it feels imperfect, is usually way better than getting stuck in silence because your filter is working overtime.
Okay, filter less. I like that. It connects to the next point, right? Cultivating curiosity.
It does, beautifully. Curiosity is like a superpower in conversation. When you shift your focus from, what should I say, how am I coming across, to what can I learn about this person, what's their perspective, everything changes.
Takes the pressure off your own performance.
Completely. You become genuinely interested in discovering something.
Yeah.
And, there's that great saying often linked to Buddha, if your mouth is open, you're not learning.
Right. If you're talking, you're not listening.
And listening is where the connection happens. Even if you disagree with someone, you can still be curious about why they think that way, what experiences led them there. You learn about them. It builds massive rapport. Nobody ever listened themselves out of a job, as they say.
That's a good one. Okay, and the last mindset piece was emotional awareness.
Yeah, and managing stress. Stress absolutely tanks your ability to communicate effectively. Your brain just isn't working optimally when you're anxious. So becoming aware of your own emotional state, noticing when you're tense or stressed, is the first step to managing it.
And noticing theirs, too.
Absolutely. Recognizing others' emotions helps you respond more effectively, build trust, show empathy. And remember, emotions are contagious. If you bring calm, curious energy, you're far more likely to get that back. Anxiety often breeds more anxiety.
Wow, okay. These mindset shifts, less judgment, less filtering, more curiosity, emotional awareness, they really lay the groundwork. And hey, if you're finding these ideas helpful so far, if they're resonating with you, hitting that like button is a really simple way to help this discussion reach more people who might be struggling with the same thing. It helps spread the positive energy.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. It really does help. So with that stronger mindset as our base, we can move into the actual skills. And the first one is absolutely fundamental, mastering the art of receiving, which is really about active listening.
Active listening. It sounds simple, but it's way more than just hearing sounds, isn't it?
Oh, significantly more. Active listening is about being fully present and engaged. You're not just hearing words. You're trying to understand the meaning, the intent, the feeling behind them. You're tuning into the other person's whole world in that moment.
So being present is step one. Put the phone away.
Non-negotiable. Phone away, mental distractions quieted down as much as possible. Really focus your attention on the speaker and use all your senses. That includes paying close attention to their nonverbal cues.
Body language, that's huge, right? Like 65% of communication.
Something like that, yeah. The numbers vary, but it's a massive chunk. Their tone of voice, the speed they talk, their posture, gestures, facial expressions, all of it tells a story. If someone's talking really fast, maybe they're excited or maybe nervous.
And our own body language matters too.
Crucial. Are you leaning in slightly, making eye contact, nodding, keeping an open posture instead of crossing your arms? These signals show you're engaged and create a sense of trust. It confirms you're really there with them.
Okay, so be present, watch nonverbals. What else?
Listen to understand, not just to figure out what you're going to say next. This is tough because our brains want to jump ahead, but really try to absorb their point fully before crafting your response.
And resist the urge to immediately jump in with advice or judgment.
Yes. Unless they specifically ask for it, hold back. Often people just need the space to be heard, especially if they're talking about something challenging. Creating that safe zone through empathetic listening is incredibly powerful. Just practice acceptance.
Don't fear the pause either, right?
Definitely not. Pauses are natural. They allow for reflection. Don't feel you have to fill every single millisecond of silence. Rushing in can actually shut down deeper sharing. Patience is key.
You mentioned listening for the feeling behind the words, the subtext. Could you give an example?
Sure. Think about someone saying, "I'm going back to work tomorrow." Simple sentence. But if it's said by someone returning from a relaxing vacation versus someone who just landed a job after months of unemployment.
Same words, totally different feeling. Relief versus maybe excitement mixed with nerves.
Exactly. An active listener picks up on that difference, and you can acknowledge it with an empathic statement. To the vacationer, maybe. "Wow, guess you'll have a mountain of emails waiting, huh?" To the job seeker. "That's fantastic. It must feel great to find something that fits after all this time."
That shows you're really hearing them on a deeper level.
It really does. It builds rapport incredibly fast because people feel genuinely seen and understood. That kind of deep listening is how you attract those meaningful connections, whether it's in your personal life, at work, wherever. People are drawn to those who make them feel valued.
Okay, so active listening is skill one. What's next? We need to contribute too, right?
Absolutely. It's not just about receiving, you also need to be a compelling contributor. This brings us to skill number 2, mastering conversational ping pong.
The give and take.
Exactly. Think of it like a game. You hit the ball, they hit it back. You don't want to be the person who just serves ace after ace without letting the other person play. Like someone just delivering a monologue.
Or that consultant who just rattles off their pitch without breathing.
Right. You have to consciously hit the ball back to them, give them an opening to respond.
And the best way to do that is asking questions.
Questions are conversational rocket fuel, especially open-ended questions, the ones that start with how, why, what, tell me about. They invite the other person to share more than just a yes or no.
And then not just stopping there, but asking follow-up questions, like peeling an onion.
Yes, that's where the real magic happens. Instead of just taking their answer and moving on, ask another question based on what they just said. Go a little deeper. A really powerful one is simply, how did that make you feel? It shifts from facts to feelings and often unlocks much richer conversation.
Okay, but to ask good questions and contribute meaningfully, you need stuff to talk about. That brings us back to that interest bank idea.
Exactly, sometimes called the iceberg effect. You see someone who seems effortlessly interesting, always has something to add, that's the tip of the iceberg. Underneath, they've likely cultivated a wide range of interests.
They read, they listen, they try things.
Yeah, maybe they know a little about jazz or ancient history or rock climbing or sustainable gardening, whatever. The point isn't to be a world expert on everything. It's to have enough curiosity and surface-level knowledge about a variety of topics so you can connect with different kinds of people.
It just gives you more potential connection points, more threads.
Precisely. It expands your conversational landscape. And hey, if someone brings up something you know nothing about, perfect opportunity to use curiosity. Frame it as learning.
Like that Dale Carnegie story about botany.
Exactly. He knew nothing about it but was genuinely interested, asked questions, let the other person be the expert, and they thought he was a brilliant conversationalist. Just be curious.
So the actionable tip is simple. Learn one new thing today. Just one small thing. Read an article, watch a short video on a new subject, start building that bank. And if building these skills to manifest a more confident social life feels right for you, subscribing to our channel is a great way to get regular insights like these to support your journey. We'd love to have you as part of the community.
Definitely. We appreciate that support. So building that interest bank is ongoing. Now, skill number 3 is about having a safety net and thinking creatively when you're actually in the conversation.
For those moments where things stall a bit, even when you're trying.
Exactly. One really practical tip is the quick scan. Before you go out or hop on a call, take literally 2 minutes to scan headlines or trending topics for a couple of light, interesting, non-controversial things.
Like that article about why iPhones look better in grayscale.
Oh, perfect. Something light, maybe tech-related, maybe a cool science discovery, a positive local story. Have 1 or 2 in your back pocket with a simple way to introduce them. Like, hey, did you happen to see that story about? Avoid heavy or tragic news as an opener, obviously. That's just a little safety net.
Okay, what if you're stuck on a topic you know nothing about and changing it feels awkward?
That's where the spokes method comes in handy. Think of the main topic as the hub of a wheel. The spokes are all the related ideas or concepts branching off it.
Okay.
So if someone's talking about, say, mountain biking and you've never done it, the hub is mountain biking. What are the spokes? Nature, exercise, gear and technology, travel destinations for trails, the sense of community, adrenaline.
Ah, I see. So you find a spoke you can connect with.
Exactly. You don't have to pretend to know about suspension forks. You can pivot gently to a related smoke. Wow, that sounds intense. Do you go to some pretty amazing natural places for that? Or is the gear really complex? I'm always fascinated by tech. You're still engaging, just on a related tangent where you can contribute or ask a genuine question.
That's clever. It keeps you in the conversation.
It does. And another huge part of contributing well is using stories. Humans are wired for narrative. Good conversationalists are often good storytellers. Stories create feeling, not just transmit data.
So how do we tell better stories, just in casual conversation?
Well, first, try to start with a hook. Give people a reason to listen. Instead of, I went to the car wash. Maybe try, you will not believe the chaos at the car wash yesterday. See the difference?
Yeah, instant intrigue.
Keep it reasonably concise. Don't ramble. Know your point. What's the punchline or the main takeaway? And crucially, aim to create feeling. Get engaged yourself, but try to evoke the emotion in your listener. Show, don't just tell.
And you also mentioned using callbacks.
Yeah, just briefly mentioning something someone said earlier, like you were saying about curiosity. It shows you were listening, you remembered, and it weaves the conversation together, builds real rapport.
These are great tools. Okay, this all relies on something else too, doesn't it? Skill number 4. Body language.
Absolutely vital. We touched on reading others, but your own nonverbals speak volumes. Your facial expressions, posture, gestures, tone, eye contact. They communicate constantly, often more powerfully than your words.
And if your words say one thing, but your body says another?
People trust the body. Every time. If you say, I'm really interested, but you're looking away and fidgeting, they'll believe the fidgeting. Aligning your words and your body language builds trust, makes you seem congruent, confident, authentic, which, again, is incredibly attractive energetically.
It makes you more magnetic.
It really does. And being aware of how you're coming across non-verbally helps you project that calm confidence we talked about earlier. Pay attention to the whole cluster of signals: face, posture, tone. Trust your gut feeling if someone seems off. Often it's a mismatch between their words and body language.
Okay, so we've got the mindset shifts, the core skills, listening, contributing, using stories, body language. But how do we actually get better? How do we build that real confidence?
Right, overcoming the roadblocks and actually doing it. First off, try to make peace with pauses. Awkward silences feel, well, awkward, especially with new people, but pauses are normal. With people you know well, they can even be comfortable. Don't automatically panic, use them to take a breath.
But what if the conversation really is grinding to a halt?
Learn to recognize the signs. The long pauses become frequent, you're repeating yourselves, maybe some uncomfortable laughter. It's okay to consciously change the topic. Use one of your quick scan items. Ask a broader question like, what's something exciting you're looking forward to? Tell a short story, or even suggest a change of scenery or activity if it makes sense.
And the ultimate key to building confidence, the real secret sauce.
It's action. Plain and simple. You can't think your way into conversational confidence. You build it by doing.
Practice.
Yes. Start small. Stop hesitating. Have a brief chat with the barista. Say hello to your neighbor and ask how their weekend was. Make a quick comment to someone waiting in line. These are low-stakes interactions. Each small success chips away at the fear and proves to your brain, hey, I can do this. It's okay.
Those little wins build momentum.
Exactly. Action fundamentally changes your self-perception. Other ideas. Join a club or group around an instant common ground. Practice active listening during podcasts or conversations you overhear. Maybe even ask a trusted friend to practice with you. Consistent, small actions are the path.
It really sounds like moving from fear to flow is totally achievable. And, sharing our experiences helps everyone. For those listening, what's your go-to tip? What helps you keep conversations flowing or feel more confident? Drop it in the comments below. Sharing insights really helps build this positive community energy.
That's a great idea. Learning from each other is powerful.
So just to wrap things up, we started by acknowledging that really common, frustrating feeling being lost for words, mind blank, awkward silence. But we've seen it's not about being inherently awkward. It's about mindset and skills. We talked about shifting your mindset, ditching the spotlight effect, filtering less, embracing curiosity, managing your emotional energy.
And we explored the core skills. Deep, active listening, being present, reading cues, understanding feelings. Being a great contributor, the ping pong, the powerful questions, building your interest bank, having safety nets like the quick scan and spokes method, telling good stories, and using congruent body language.
And the key takeaway is that practicing these things, starting small, is how you build real, lasting confidence and natural flow. It's a journey from feeling stuck to feeling capable.
And this transformation isn't just about smoother conversations. It's fundamental to manifestation. When you show up as confident, present, and genuinely connected, you align your energy with attracting positive outcomes. Better relationships, new opportunities, more success. It all flows more easily when your communication is clear, authentic, and removes that resistance. You become a more magnetic presence.
Which leads to a final thought to leave you with. As you start using these strategies, speaking and listening with this new awareness, this new confidence, what doors that felt closed before might just start to open up for you? What are you now ready to attract?
Something powerful to consider.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us for this discussion today. If you found value here and you're ready to manifest more confident, flowing connections in your life, please do give this video a like. And make sure you subscribe to the channel for more practical strategies and insights. We really appreciate you being here.
Yes, thank you. Go out there and connect.